Kalimera, kalispera, kalinichta. No matter where in this wild, wacky, and sometimes wonderful world you might be, thank you for making the Highbury Squad part of your day. I'm sorry, the roller coaster ride has begun in game one. They say it's the hope that kills you. Tonight, we're going to talk about hopes, dreams, and reality. A little bit of a different show on a Friday night, which we're going to be doing regularly this season. Squaddies, let's rock and roll. Tell your friends to come join.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
I think I'm still laughing at Lee Dixon saying, you know, Mo Salah, he's either out of this world, brilliant, or bang average. Well, there's your bang average goal, Lee Dixon. Welcome to Freestyle Friday. It's the Premier League kickoff right here on Squad Central. I'll be joined by a very special guest in just a little bit, but I have you guys, the Squaddies at ease, Squaddies at ease. Good evening to each and every one of you. Before I've got a surprise for you. Before I dive into the game and the hopes and the dreams and the reality of this season, I did a very special interview this morning. I'm bringing back the Inside the Dressing Room series. And my first guest was none other than US men's national team legend, Sheffield Wednesday legend, and the all-round epic human being, John Harkes. Episode 1, Inside the Dressing Room, with the original Captain America. I think you guys will love it. It's going to go up this weekend. So please look out for it. John Harkes, Inside the Dressing Room, a new season. Lots of great interviews coming up with ex-players taking us beyond the white lines. I asked him about Tony Adams and Odegaard and Pulisic and Donovan, of course, for our American listeners. And we have a lot of American listeners here at Squad Central. So please look out for that. I'd be eternally grateful if you watch and share. Let's scroll to the tippy top of the Premier League kickoff mountain, shall we? I'm sure there's a note from our Chief Like Officer, Tammy Steels, telling you guys to hit the like button. Very close to 20K. Good evening to all of those listening on our audio platforms and on Apple and Spotify. We really appreciate you. And yes, Tammy, it was a very special tribute at the beginning to Diogo Jota from Liverpool and Liverpool fans. It was very emotional. I actually choked up. I'm not afraid to admit it. You know, you just think how last season he was living his dream and living the life. And this season it was just a different start. I said on the show the other night with Kyle Campbell, grief is a journey and it takes you on so many roundabouts and twists and turns and ups and downs, and definitely driven by the desire and the passion to win tonight, not only for themselves, the fans, and of course for Jota and his family. I don't know if they were in attendance. I heard that they were. I read that they were. But yeah, it's... they're galvanized. There's no doubt about that. But it's also the type of emotion and experience that can take you in a different direction as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Liverpool tackle the season, whether or not they're going to continue the tributes at home in every game on 20 minutes. You know, that's a beautiful thing. It can also take its toll on the heart and the mind. And it'll be interesting. Regardless of all of that, they're still an exceptionally talented team. There's no doubt about that. Let's welcome some of you into the house. Ryan is here. Please listen to Ryan. Simi is in the house. Let's see who's here. Patrick is in the house. Matt is in the house. I'll read your comments out. We'll get stuck into the game. Demsek is in the house. John is here. PW's here. Burmese here. Kev's here. Big Ben is here. Reggie's here. Trev, Stuart. And many, many, many of you are in the house. And speaking of in the house, not only do I have Big Ben chiming as my special guest, But I also welcome back to Squad Central my podcast brother from another mother, Mr. Albert JTV. At ease, Albert.
At ease. Welcome back. God, nothing like a quiet Friday evening in the Premier League. Flipping also. Wow.
Wow. Just wow. Yeah. I mean, Albert and I have been exchanging messages in our WhatsApp group. And let me tell you, when are we ever going to learn? When am I ever going to learn about not getting too excited too quickly and not getting down too quickly? So at 2-0, I'm like, God, if they get Isak, we're all finished. This, that, and the other. And then Semenyo scores one, and then the second. Oh my God. It's such an immediate roller coaster, Albert. Game one.
Yeah, it is. It's mad. You know what? To be honest, Sophie, I think I don't know if you caught it in the chat. I do like a little bet on the football coupons. You know, both teams to score, a team to win. I actually did have Liverpool down to win tonight. Not like that though. That was I didn't expect that. Sophie, you know what it is in Liverpool, and I've said this for about 2-3 years now, even before they won the league last season. One thing they are gold medal experts in. They're killers up front. The top end of the pitch. Players come and gone. Diaz, Nunez, Salah, Gakpo. They've got Ekitike now. They're just defensively, there's some issues there for them. But when you're a team that can score 2 goals or more in a game, you're gonna win more games than you're gonna draw or lose. They're just that top end of the pitch. And so for the ominous thing is they might not be finished yet. Defensively and offensively.
Well, yeah, Albert, I was going to say, I said this on the community page on the Highbury Squad channel, and that is, it looks to me that Liverpool need Mark Gay more than they do Isak. I mean, when you have Chiesa side, scoring his first goal, Ekitike looks like how tall? He's as tall as...
He's very tall. I didn't realize he's that big. Yeah.
So tall. You're seeing this pattern again, goals from everywhere. And of course, Mo Salah puts the icing on the victory cake. But to me, it feels like this is Bournemouth. And I swear, I mean, this manager for Bournemouth, he's exceptional. And there's no doubt that his team came to play. They came organized. They're susceptible at the back. Some of their defending was suspect. There's no doubt about it. But Iraola is top shelf. I mean, that team never gave up. Going forward, they were fearless. And Liverpool, the Semenyo goal, I mean, I don't know what happened. It was like the Grand Canyon. He just kind of sailed through. To me, it seems Liverpool need Gay more than Isak. Albert.
I know he's been on the tongue for quite a few weeks now, but
just get it done. My God.
Quickly about Iraola. And I think you have to remember as well is, listen, credit to Bournemouth as a club, they've sold incredibly well. So if they've lost 3 of their best defenders. I mean, and to put in that performance tonight, they're going to be all right this season. They're going to be all right. They've got a couple of signings in as well on top of that, but they're going to be all right this season. And I was saying to you and sort of Kenny in the chat that even if you look at Bournemouth's the second goal for Semenyo, 2 passes, how quickly from the edge of their own box. I want to see Arsenal score more goals like that. Even the Ekitike goal in the first half, that's a Gyokeres type of goal, But the issue we're going to have is, Sophie, are we going to get the ball through to him quick enough? That's the only thing that I have a problem with. But
we're gonna get onto that, Albert. I've got a few questions for you, a few topics for the squaddies. Hit the like button. Let's start getting more people into the live chat. I'll hit up our community page again. Thanks to those of you joining. It is an unusual hour for the show. Friday nights, I'm old now. I stay home. So if you guys want, this will become a regular show, Freestyle Friday, one that you get to voice your opinion. If you want to pop into the studio and have a chat with me and Albert, let me know. Just put in studio in the live chat and I will send you guys a link. It is a free forum. And then on Sunday, we'll be live after the Manchester United v Arsenal game as well. And a schedule of shows that are going to be hitting your screens this season will be coming at you. I will announce them all on Sunday night after the big game. So, Albert, we're also tonight going to do, we did some predictions with Kyle on Wednesday.
Yeah,
I want to get your predictions so the squaddies know exactly who you've picked top 4, bottom 3. But tonight I also want to do Golden Boot winner, Player of the Year, Young Player of the Year, Golden Glove, Manager of the Year. And I also want to do some predictions for Arsenal, top scorer, Player of the Year, most improved, surprise player, and regressed player as well. Before we start with all of that, Liverpool won 4-2. They're top of the league. They could be there all season or not. But before we get into the kickoff, I want to get your take. I spoke to the great John Harkes earlier today for our series Inside the Dressing Room, which is going to be coming at you on our video section this season. And I did ask him, there was some controversial things going on here in the United States regarding Landon Donovan and Pulisic. Timothy Weah calling Tim Howard and Landon Donovan evil for having an opinion on modern day football. It was really interesting in terms of, you know, what's happened in that landscape. But Pochettino hasn't really kicked it off. And then, of course, I had to ask him about the comments made by Tony Adams. And squaddies, I want to get your take on this. Let's get some of the newsworthy items out the way first. Tony Adams was a guest at an event. I don't know what event it was. I just saw the clips and made the comments about how Arsenal will never win with Odegaard as captain. This coming from a captain who's won and lifted a championship in 3 decades, the only player to do so. Albert, did you think Tony's comments were fair or foul, squaddies? And if you're listening on replay in the YouTube comments, please let me know if you thought that Tony Adams's comments were fair or foul, bearing in mind, I wish I had known this before I interviewed John Harkes today and we talked about this. Martin Odegaard also just did an interview with Sky Sports' Roman Kemp, and I don't know if you guys have seen it or listened to it, but he actually said in the interview that second isn't failure.
Oof.
Now, maybe if you read between the lines, sometimes execution isn't as good as what your thought process is, i.e. some people aren't good communicators. They can't express themselves and say what they're thinking in kind of a flowery type of way. But also, second is not a failure. That, to me, made me think a little bit extra about the Tony Adams comment. Albert, what do you think?
I didn't have a problem with what Tony Adams said, and I agreed with it. I think and so if I want to sort of take it back, and it's going to lead on to the question you're asking me. And I've mentioned this before, and I'll keep on saying it again. I came on Highbury Squad back in early January. We played Brighton away. We drew 1-1, and it was the first time I vocally said in regards to the manager and that maybe the players need to hear a new voice. And the pushback me and you had that day was, I was actually really, really surprised because I have a small voice in the community and I have an opinion about the way my team's playing and maybe the way the manager's implementing tactics. So if maybe I'm an old relic and, you know, it's not just Tony Adams, it's the Thierry Henry comments on the overlap last season. And I've seen a sway and a section of our fan base who almost want to hold Arsenal legends to account more than they do the club or the manager. That's a big concern, man. I don't get it. You know, people like Thierry Henry and Tony Adams, when they talk about legends, that's not the type of word you throw around very, very loosely. These are guys that have been in the trenches, that have brought this club major, major honours and success. And now that they have an opinion about the club that they love and they played for, it seems to be a problem in sections of our fans. What do they disagree with exactly? Is it that Tony Adams said or previously Thierry Henry? I don't really get it. He's entitled to his opinion. There's a lot of people who share Tony Adams' sentiments in terms of the captain of Arsenal. This is nothing new, by the way. This wasn't Tony Adams being knee-jerk. If you heard Tony Adams speak about Arsenal before, why should this be such a shock to you? And no, don't try and score cheap points for talking about his managerial career. That's not what he's talking about. He's talking about leadership and getting over the line and having a strong voice. Why is he not entitled to say that?
Great comments. And I agree with Mark, and I'm trying to get as many comments up as I can here, you guys. I'm trying, let me just see if I can find Mark's again. But basically, let's get this comment up somehow. He was talking about how, here it is. I think Odegaard's game would improve with the weight of captaincy on his shoulders, or he means off his shoulders. Because that was kind of a comment that Tony made as well, i.e. he'll be freer not to worry as much. And what I found interesting and why I went back to this and why I wanted to talk to you and the squaddies about it, and everyone listening on audio, let me know what you think too, is Roman Kemp asked him about the captain without saying, I don't know when that interview was done. It was probably done before the Tony Adams comments, but they talked about the captain role. And and Odegaard said, you know, it's a million things. There's a million things. And he seems to thrive on it. And I told you guys that when I covered him in Norway, there's a definite leadership chip there. You can see even in a team where you got Haaland, he's the guy, he's the leader, he's the one talking to the media. But when you talk about the million things, he said that was the answer, but he didn't give too many examples, right? I remember, you know, when Super Kev used to talk about, you know, Tony Adams as captain or whatever, you know, the game day tickets back in the day. You want these tickets? We got this game coming up, whatever. Socially, I think they're responsible for keeping the group together. He talked about a leader, but then he said there are many leaders in the team. And I asked John Harkes too, and you guys will see, like, there's a lot of fans who diminish the role of a captain in a team. And I totally disagree with that. And this idea, I think Emery having 5 captains, you know, a little bit like how Manchester United diminished the FA Cup when they went to play in the Club World Cup all those years ago. Emery kind of diminished the role of the captain at Arsenal by naming 5. You know, our heritage is important. And one of the things I think younger fans don't respect is part of that heritage for us was having a captain like Tony Adams. It was about how he was a leader, vocal, how he fell. The mighty fell, and no one fell greater than Tony Adams. You know, bounced back, made such a difference in his life and other lives. Patrick Vieira comes in, another one, shows his passion on the field. I'm not saying Odegaard needs to be loud and brash. He's a quiet leader. I don't think it's fair to just strip the captaincy off him and give it to Declan Rice. But how people speak and what they say in interviews, Albert, is indicative of what is going on behind the scenes. So finishing second for 3 seasons, they don't see it as a failure. It's the little things, Albert, for me. Now, Tony's timing, probably wrong to do it at the start of the season, but I understand what he was trying to say, and he comes from the old school mentality of captains. I think the last captain like that was probably Steven Gerrard or John Terry. And I think people need to read in between the lines. And I agree with you. 2 legends of the club, Tony Adams and Thierry Henry, are being vilified by a fan base. They've won everything. They are entitled to their opinion. In fact, let me put this picture up again. I don't see any of our current players having done this. It's not, he didn't say anything derogatory, I don't think. He was actually complimenting him in the fact that he's such a good player. Maybe the burden of being captain is too much, and you'll see his best without having to carry that label, Albert.
Yeah, and so just to add to that, because I mentioned this before, people talk about the timing. We can definitely talk about timing in regards to Zinchenko and what he said over the last couple of days. That's another topic. But what I wanted to sort of add is a bit of a different angle to it. But almost lost my train of thought, Sophie. Come back to me, sorry.
No, I was going to say like this too. So we give it to Declan. Then what happens when the next leader shows up? Adams needs to time his opinions. This is also very true. However, you know, sometimes you need a reboot. You need a refresh. The one thing Arsenal, Antoine, have been doing is the same thing over and over again every single season. You don't have to be captain for like forever, ever and ever. Now, how can you argue with what Mikel Arteta said in the press conference? And I'm sure this is true. If not, it's ultimate PR spinning that everyone voted. Why is he taking a vote? If Martin Odegaard is your captain and has been for the last 3 seasons, why are you taking a vote if you have given him the vote of confidence and you're telling us that he's the supreme leader of the team? Why are you doing that? I find that a little bit off and a little bit confusing. Am I reading too much into that, Albert?
No, but then Sophie, it comes back to what people were saying. Some people saying in the chat, it's about the timing. I understand why he said it, but Mikel Arteta says a lot of things in press conferences. I just think to myself, where are you going with this? Like I said, if he's your captain, and what I would say to Mikel personally, Sophie, if that's the case, then why have you subbed him as many times as you have done if he's your captain, your go-to man?
I mean, Bergkamp was subbed a lot too, but you know, we're talking about different.
Yeah. Even before that as well. So,
yeah.
He does come out. Actually, Sophie, it's what I expected Mikel to do. Sometimes I don't know what he's going to say half the time, but I didn't really understand him saying that. If you know he's your main man and he's your captain, why should he come out and say that the players took a vote? What? Unless he's not telling the truth.
Yeah, that's the part I don't get. This I do agree with PW. He said with Odegaard we'll win nothing. That was harsh as captain. Mm-hmm. Now, you may not want Odegaard to be captain, but to say we won't win anything because he's captain, that's the part I didn't like. And I'm just here being honest. I think there's part of what he said that has truth, and you also have to call him out, because I thought that was really targeting him in a way that, is he really solely responsible for Arsenal winning the league? No, he's not, Albert. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, that was a bit harsh on Martin Odegaard. And I know people talk about Tony Adams being old school. And you can agree with parts of what he said or disagree with it. That's fine. I don't agree with that part, but in terms of the captaincy, that like I said, that's a conversation that's come about not just recently because Tony Adams said what he said. People have got their opinions on who the captain should be, and people place a big value on it, Sophie. I don't know how you feel about placing how much of an emphasis you place on the captaincy in terms of Arsenal. For me, yes, it's important. Is it life and death? No.
I think in moments where we struggle mentally, for me, Arsenal's issue is not talent on the pitch. It's been a little bit tactical, injury driven last season. I don't think we can deny that. Yeah. And how we handle the spotlight, our mental, right? And sometimes in those moments where the team might be struggling mentally or they're feeling the pressure of the moment, I think you need someone on the pitch and a lot of fans think that's Big Gabby, right? Mm-hmm. Because he has this fearless approach and attitude. I don't think there's a language barrier that some people think. Some people think, you know, if you use the F-bomb and some other choice words, I think players know exactly what you're talking about. But in those moments where things get dark in the light, I do think you need, and you saw Declan do it. Now, I'm not saying Declan should be captain. I don't think that's a good move right now. And Declan has said in interviews that Odegaard's the captain. Yeah. But you saw Declan when Thomas Partey got that yellow card and he knew he was going to miss the first leg against PSG. Yeah. That's what Declan does. And I think that's a little bit of what Tony's talking about.
No, yeah, no, that's a perfect example. I know people might have an issue, obviously, with the reason why this topic has come up, Sophie, is because of what Tony Adams said. Whether you agree with what he said and how he said it is entirely up to you. So if you think it's a daft conversation to have,
Yeah,
then,
Lone Star.
then you can mute. You don't want to mute the podcast. You won't hear what we've got to say.
You know what, Lone Star? I don't know. You've been a bit prickly lately, but I love it. It's all good. These are all conversations we're going to have because Arsenal's most decorated captain has said this, and this is kind of disruptive. What he's done and what he's said is disruptive. Every single person is talking about it. Every Arsenal fan is talking about it. You saying Arteta asked the group, they answered, move on. I'm asking why Arteta asked the group.
If that's your guy. Yeah, exactly. So it's a plausible question to ask.
Why would you say that to the media when he's your guy and you've stood by him and he's your guy? What he should have said was, Martin Odegaard is my captain. He's been my captain for the last 3 seasons. He is the leader on the pitch, in the dressing room. You don't need players to let the players validate it in their own interviews. I felt like that made Mikel not sound a little weak sauce, but he's the manager and he makes the decisions. And I love it. It's a democracy. And of course, you want your players to. But why are you asking the players to buy into someone that you've already sold to the fans and to the media?
There you go. And like I said, like you mentioned earlier, Sophie, in regards to timing. I don't know if you've touched upon it in terms of Zinchenko before.
No, please. That was where I was going to go next. Give us your thoughts on that, Albert.
Yeah, I won't spend too long on it, Sophie. You know, sometimes things just come left field. But Sophie, like, not to be harsh, right? But that's football. Like, sometimes players are flavour of the month. Sometimes they get brought into a club, they might start well. Maybe somebody takes an opportunity in your position and excels, i.e. Miles Lewis-Skelly. And it's not just about in terms of, you know, when Zinchenko came to the club and the inverting and he started off pretty well, but then you saw the flaws in his game defensively. And even actually, I'd even argue at times, which was his strength in terms of going forward and inverting. I think it got to a point really where he wasn't even doing well doing that. And that's not even including on top of his injury record at Arsenal. So the timing, people talk about timing, as I mentioned in the chat. This is awful timing. And it might tie into a little bit because Sophie, I've heard time and time again, right, with Zinchenko in regards to clubs being interested in him. Now, it probably doesn't help that he's not featured a lot, but he's had enough. There's been enough petrol in the tank with him in terms of him being a player in the Premier League and being visible and, you know, captain of the national side, where we should have moved him on if the rumors were true in terms of other teams being interested in him. But yeah, I was quite surprised when I saw the comments, to be honest with you. And I don't think it particularly would have gone down that well.
So regarding Zinchenko, here's what I think, Albert, and let us know what you think in the YouTube comments. Remember, this is a football democracy here, Freestyle Friday. We're talking about it all with our good friend Albert JTV, who'll be coming back with the women's show once that kicks off. We're doing a special women's show preview on the 29th of August. We'll keep you posted about that. Zinchenko, I think we have to be fair here, right? He came to the club at a time when we needed everything that he offered. Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko, the first season they came into the club, I thought were fantastic. Gabriel Jesus helped Arteta reinvent the way Arsenal play football, Arteta ball, right? His off-the-ball movement, what he did out of possession, the hustle. He taught players how to hustle. He showed players how to hustle. And it is a damn shame that Gabriel Jesus couldn't stay fit, because a fit Gabriel Jesus playing in the way Arteta wants to play, I think offered so much. And we saw that, Albert, when he came back from injury last season, and then we lost him again. The way he played in the Champions League, what he offered, and then bang, he gets injured again. Zinchenko, winning mentality at Manchester City. They were part of a squad that won a lot of things. I think they introduced all of the good things about what it takes to win in the dressing room. The way he reacted to Saliba's goal, I think, was it at Fulham or Crystal Palace that year? I think it was Fulham, right?
Yeah, I
The
think
banger
so.
that Saliba scored. He was a passionate, vocal, G-you-up leader on the pitch. Another international captain. But he's a bit of an old school one. He yells, he shouts, he speaks. Football's evolutionary, right? And I didn't see him being as vocal when Pep thought he was surplus to requirements, Albert, right?
Yeah.
Arsenal definitely have this sellability factor when it comes to social media, books, stories, media, etc. I think Zinchenko should say thank you and go on his way. I think what Isak is doing to Newcastle is disgusting. Now, I know players have a short window. We see it in a lot of sports. In the NFL, I always side with the player because owners in the NFL are ruthless. Contracts are ruthless. Free agency is ruthless. Footballers have a little bit of more of a career years-wise. What Isak is doing is disgusting. Newcastle pay his wages. Newcastle gave him the name on the back of his shirt, the platform to perform. He's got Champions League football. I know he wants to go to Liverpool, but to go on strike, I find it like, okay, you want to move? If I move jobs and when I've moved jobs, Albert, I still do my 2 weeks notice. I will give the respect to the employee that gave me the platform to perform the way I did and allowed me the opportunity to go get another job that pays better and I have an even bigger platform to perform on. I'll get off my soapbox now. Sorry.
Yeah, people saying about did Gyokeres do the same thing, but we're talking about
Gyokeres refused to go back to training. The season hasn't started where he's saying, I'm not playing. And you know what? Gyokeres had what they call a gentleman's agreement. Isak is saying that he had an agreement, but Stanaway, whatever her name was, she's not at the club anymore. What he's doing seems a little bit different, but Gyokeres too, if the season had started and he'd be behaving this way, it would make me question his character. Is Gyokeres doing this? Did Gyokeres do the same thing as Isak? If you guys think that's the same and I'm talking out the other side of my mouth, then I'll take it.
So Zinchenko, Sophie, one thing is, I sort of noticed this. It seems to be a little bit of a pattern at Arsenal with when we sign certain players, and we're probably going to touch on in terms of Arsenal sellability and moving players on. I think you mentioned it before on another stream where we seem to always hang on to players a little bit too long, or we miss the boat to move them on, and that hinders us. I don't know whether he's going to be. I don't know whether he's going to be come the end of the window. Zinchenko. There's a few other players in the same boat. Touch on quickly what about Isak. That situation has gone left field so quickly. It's crazy. And regardless whether he, Sophie, even if he said, for example, right, that he mentioned to the club that he wanted to go a season ago or the end of the season or a couple of weeks after the season finished, he signed the contract extension, didn't he? So when when's that conversation take place then? So that the way that situation is mad. And when I look at it now, we was linked with Gyokeres at the time, and the news came out that Liverpool were interested in Isak. I see some Arsenal fans and podcasters having a meltdown, and I'm thinking, hold on a minute,
we've signed a meltdown over what?
In terms of Isak potentially going to Liverpool. And we'd already signed Gyokeres at the time. I'm like, hold on a minute. You wanted to... We've bought a guy who's got 97 goals in 102 games. I get it. People wanted Isak at the club. You know what my thoughts were in terms of who I wanted, and we got him. But yeah, there's it just... Sophie, for me, it leaves a bad taste in the mouth. So it's like, football's a short career. Move on, man. Go and apply your trade elsewhere. Like you mentioned, he didn't have a problem. He didn't have a problem when he surplus requirements in Manchester City. So why has he come out and said this now? I get his book the book out, but yeah, this is the timing and him coming out with this to me is just crazy.
I agree with you. Sorry, this comment got my attention. Oh dear. Teddy, this is my channel. And you'll show some respect when you are here if you want to comment. I'll give you one more chance. You can apologize. You can stay and hang out, or I'll just kick you out. All right? Teddy Klinsmann, I take it you're a Tottenham fan.
Yeah.
Right? What happened to your club the other night? Go put the kettle on and watch the documentary. We just went Spursy again. Thank you very much. I will say, right, I'm reading, and you know me, I'll put my hands up. I will put my hands up and say, if I'm going to have this energy towards Isak, I should have the same energy towards Gyokeres. And in the end, it worked out for Gyokeres because, you know, he got what he wanted. I hope it's what Mikel are. Go on.
No, I'm saying I'm Viscera Brentford as well. Oh, right. It looks like it might end up that way anyway.
Yeah. I mean, same energy. You're right, guys. I can't sit here and be a hypocrite just because he joined our club. What he did was wrong. And I just think that sometimes there has to be a little bit of respect for the club that you're leaving. Now, someone said in the chat, well, you know, Sporting were playing hardball, the money, the whatever. In the end, what I do like is that Gyokeres forgave 2 million of his own money and his agent dropped 5 million fee. So that's why I wasn't going so hard in on Gyokeres. We'll see what Isak's agent does. We'll see what Isak is willing to give up. We'll see how that plays out, and then we can revisit it again. Okay. Let me know your thoughts, everybody. And by the way, Mark's not talking about you. Good evening, Matty.
I know, Mark.
Archangel says players always get what they want these days. Do you remember Ronaldo crying that he was treated like a slave, not being allowed to move to Real Madrid? Jonathan says, like the NBA, so if players always get their move, they have all the power. Yep, true. In the entertainment business, they call it clout. Goal scorers have it. Can't argue with that at all as well. And thanks for the love, squaddies. By the way, if you don't know, we're going to be doing a post-game show after Manchester United and Arsenal. Albert's joined me, coming in, super sub, but I was like, I don't fancy doing the show on my own. Come on, Albert. And he's been working all day, so I'm not going to keep you much longer. But there are 200 listening live here and hundreds of others listening on other platforms as well. Thank you to all of the new subscribers. So appreciate you. Albert, hopes, dreams, reality. This is the time of the season. All the hope. We're in the phase of hope and dreams. What do you think the reality is? Because all of our hopes and dreams are the same. But what's your Arsenal reality?
What a question, Sophie. You probably know the answer already for some of the conversations we've had, particularly the last 48 hours. I said it to you, Sophie, that mind you, I said it a while ago, but I've kind of maybe changed my mind or flip-flops, as some people like to use the term. I was looking forward to the season, but I'm not sure if I am. And what I mean by that, I'll explain what I mean. Because we speak, as Arsenal fans, depending how old you are when you started supporting the club, and when it comes to Arsenal recruitment and people always saying, whether it be ex-professional footballers that didn't play for Arsenal or the ones that play for Arsenal, Arsenal, sometimes we just go into a season where we're 1 or 2 short. Sophie, I get it. People will say, yeah, but we brought 6 players in, we tied people down to contracts. But if we're going to talk about Arsenal getting one of the big ones, the big fish, and I'm assuming they mean by big fish the league or the Champions League. Now, if you're going to ask me what do I think about Arsenal's chances of winning the Premier League this season, before a ball is kicked, Sophie, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. And part of that reason for me is, you know who I wanted as a striker. We've got him in. So wish lists do come true sometimes. But I also did caveat that by saying, if Arsenal are going to bring in someone like Victor Gyokeres, you have to bring in someone like Berchieze. You have to do it. Arsenal are very good at talking about marketing opportunities and bringing the right players in. Arsenal have a market opportunity and some with the talks of Berchieze. Sophie's spoken about him on various shows, bringing on particular journalists to talk about him. And I come back to what I started when I started a little segment saying, look, have Arsenal done enough for you as an Arsenal fan to be convinced that they've got a very good chance to win the Premier League? I'm not sure. And part of that will be, and I've said it before on here, Sophie, and I'll say it on my channel as well. You can bring in Gyokeres, you can bring in Madueke, you can bring in the best in class, you can resurrect Maradona and Pele. It doesn't really matter, because tactically, what you saw last season as an Arsenal fan, injuries or not, 14 draws, the style of football we played was turgid at times. And as the manager tactically flexible enough for us to play a better brand of football. And so I'm glad I missed some of the preseason games because of work. From what you and Kenny Ken told me, I would have struggled to stay awake. But luckily, I watched the preseason game, the last one. A bit of a more decent watch to watch. But so for the long short of it, I'm not sure about this season. I've got to be honest with you. Maybe ask me again come September 1st, September 2nd. But I'm really not sure.
I think those are fair comments. So I believe that the reality is, okay, that we have got some good players and that we have a squad, right? We now have options. You got Gyokeres and Kai Havertz. I still think Kai Havertz has a lot to offer this football team. I believe there's going to be games that he starts, games that Gyokeres starts. I think we missed Kai Havertz when he was injured last season, Albert. And you have to say that, you know, when you look at, we scored the most goals in our Premier League history a season ago, right? Last season was diabolical. When you look at how many goals we scored last season compared to the 91 the previous, you add Gyokeres into the mix. If you can get Odegaard scoring goals, Saka scoring goals, Kai Havertz scoring goals, Martinelli, I'll get to in just a second, and Gyokeres, add him into the mix. You know, that's huge when you've got a strong defense, right? And I believe that we've got the best defense, and this defensive partnership is the most important thing in this side. There's a lot of important partnerships. Albert, you've been talking about partnerships. Mm-hmm. We had a conversation about the lack of them last season, the lack of them in pre-season. This partnership is the rock of the team. And there'll be a new partnership that is going to emerge as well this coming season. And that's going to be midfield and Zubimendi and Declan Rice. And I think Saka's partnership with Benjamin White is something we missed last season. And these are the fundamentals to the team. And at the end of the day, it's night. And when Mikel wakes up in the morning and he's putting this team together, he needs to set it up to succeed. The reality is no square pegs, round holes. Play players in their positions. Play to the strengths of the team. Unleash Gyokeres, okay? Let him cook. Let the team feed him. I said on the show a couple of weeks ago, he's a beast. He needs food. Just feed him, right? Now, the reality too is that there is a weak link, but I think we've solved the weak link. I think Madueke is a really good signing. I'm not saying he starts every game. We got him to cover for Saka, but I think he's going to play a lot more on the left. And if Trossard does end up going, Albert, right, and we are continually seeing the same thing over and over again from Martinelli, there's rumours again that we're in for Rodrigo.
Yeah,
I don't believe any of these rumours anymore, Albert.
No, I don't. I never believed it in the first place with him.
I didn't. But that's the type, for me, you want the reality is we're probably not going to sign anyone. I said it on the show 2 weeks ago. But imagine if there was a Rodrigo on the left and a Gyokeres down the middle and a Saka on the right and Zubimendi and Declan Rice and, Odegaard, or if it was Eze. The reality is Arsenal Football Club never go the final edge. They never take it over the cliff. They never do. It's like when we signed Ozil and Santi and Sanchez, one season, but they never went and got a defense to back that up.
Yeah.
They never went and got a prolific striker, right? Declan Rice, £100 million player. We're slowly building, but it's season after season. So you've got Gabby and you've got Saliba, you've got Declan Rice, Zubimendi now. You've got Gyokeres, you've got Saka. We never dot the I and cross the T, Albert. And that's the reality of Arsenal Football Club, because it's a good team. It's a team that can win things, but have they taken it over the edge to win the big things?
And that's the thing. I've got my own sort of group chat, and a couple of the guys were saying, it's gonna be hard this season. I said, yeah, and good. It should be hard to win a league title. Shouldn't be a stroll in the park. It shouldn't be a case of when Liverpool won it last season sparingly with 4 or 5 games to go, and they still won it by 10 points anyway. So if it'd be even more satisfying with all the teams that have done the business they've done and they strengthened and they're going to be better. They're going to be better. And Pep's a wounded animal, a big time wounded animal. Liverpool ready to go again. Chelsea might cause a surprise package, maybe not in terms of winning the league, but in terms of maybe being a little bit close in terms of points margin. So it'll be even more satisfying if Arsenal could get over the line with the way these teams are strengthened. But I'll come back to what I said before, and you've touched on it. I've seen the chat they mentioned about maybe I need to be a bit more optimistic. I'm like, well, what do you want me to turn around and say? I'm not going to. Mikel does the talking. He says, we've amassed the most points in the last 3 seasons. That's fantastic. People will probably go and Google that in the next 10 years and realize that we still didn't win anything. What do you want me to say to that? But yeah, Sophie, for me, it's people say there's some sections of our fan base that say Mikel's he's evolved tactically. I don't think he has. I think he's regressed. People are going to hark back to the injuries. I'm like, well, okay, but the thing is, Sophie, when you lose 21 plus points from winning positions, that's not down to injuries. The 14 draws are not down to injuries. The 20 plus goals down on last season and the season before. That's not just down to injuries. He's petrified and scared to death of what's happened, Sophie, in the last couple of years and coming so close. You had David Hillier on recently, and he was right what he said last season in terms of he feared for Arsenal going into this season to push again for a league title, and it's not going to be given to you. You got to go out there and earn it. So, Sophie, those crux of games for the first 3 months of the season, especially the first 6 games, it's going to be massive. There's 18 points on offer. I was asked how many points I think Arsenal are going to get. Sophie, at the top of my head with the fixtures that sort of the first 6 games, I say Arsenal got a minimum. They've got to get 13, 14 minimum. And you've got some tough games in there. We haven't got a good record at St. James's Park.
We don't.
We've got Man City at home. We've got Liverpool away, which is 3 points I want more than any other time of the season. And that's just my own personal opinion, because it's how difficult it is to go and win at Anfield. And we've got to go there very, very soon as well. So, Sophie, to me, it comes down to how we are playing tactically. That's it for me. You got the striker. Saka's back. Don't know. Listen, he's going to take time to bed in. Madueke gives us balance. But then on top of that, you've got to form again. We've got to go back to that thing again. So if we talk about relationships, Zubimendi and Gyokeres. Sophie, watch out for that, because if those two, we can get those two playing. Look at the goal that Gyokeres header in against Bilbao. Jesus Christ, Sophie. The first time balling from Zubi. The movement.
It was special.
It's the movement of Gyokeres. he's not just a goal scoring machine, he's an assist king as well. And Zubimendi, one thing I'll say about him before I wrap up, Sophie, is that one thing I love about him, and maybe it's just a Spanish thing, I don't know, it's very rare you'll see him take 2-3 touches of the ball. And actually, his off the work ball is superb as well. Not just what I saw in the Emirates Cup, I'm talking about what he offers from that as well, which will help Declan Rice. But if we can form the partnerships we had before, the likes of Erdegaard and Saka, but form some new ones with Madueke and Erdegaard possibly, or Zubimendi and Gyokeres, that is going to help us tenfold. Because Sophie, you saw tonight in the game with Liverpool, Bournemouth, look how quickly those teams transitioned, man.
Mm-hmm.
2 passes for that Semenyo goal. And they score. We need to see Arsenal doing that this season. I don't want to see us having 60% possession or 70% possession and having 1 shot on target. The math doesn't math up. They have to be better. You've bought, what do we call Zubimendi? Hashtag control the tempo. We need him to do that. He can't do it on his own, but we need him to do that. We've what we bought him for. And you've got the line-breaking passes there. He's going to be brilliant at that. So hopefully, like I said, we get Gyokeres fitter. We get Zubimendi in the spaces we want that we can do. Rice pushing further up in that 8. And sometimes, obviously, can drop in as well. We have to start the season fast and well and not drop in the points the way we did the opening sort of 12, 13 games of last season. We cannot do that, Sophie. I've said it before and I'll say it again. For Arsenal to win the league, you've got to get in excess of 90 points. There's a few seasons where the likes of City won it with less, and Liverpool, but you know what I mean. Arsenal have got to push it to the final day of the season.
Brilliantly said, Albert. And I agree with you. Tempo's everything. And Zubimendi likes to pass that ball forward quickly. Mm-hmm. And I hope that we're working on Odegaard doing the same, because that's going to be exceptionally important. I think Zubimendi can unlock the keys. As important as I said that partnership at the back is, I did say Rice and Zubimendi together. Are we going to see the Declan Rice Real Madrid? What are we going to see? And a lot's going to tell us about Manchester United. We have to win that game against Manchester United. We cannot lose that game. Absolutely under no circumstances can Arsenal Football Club lose that game. This isn't me being melodramatic or emotional. This is me being a realist. You do not want that narrative to build. That team was broken last season. They've had a really good window, Albert. Have they had enough time to pull it together, though, mate?
And the thing is, on top of that as well, so I'm glad you brought that up, because obviously when Amorim came in, he's obviously, he's had a pre-season with him now. Have got in Cunha, he's got in Sesko, he's got in Mbeumo. And that's going to help Sesko a little bit better, because you've got 2 guys that have played in the Premier League, and particularly Mbeumo has been really, really good since he came up from the Championship with Brentford. But I mean, if they'd have snagged Belieber as well, which won't happen, I don't think. They could get him next season, but they've had
that's broken down.
Yeah. They've had a very, very good window. And so we'll come into the game on Sunday. So I don't know how you feel. Someone asked me earlier in terms of what I think the score is going to be, and I said, if I'm going to be really, really honest, I think Arsenal will get a score draw. That's not what I want. Obviously, I don't. That's not what I want. Because I think we've gone to Old Trafford over a number of years, so from people in the chat, where we've been due to give United a pummeling, and we haven't done it. Whether that was Ten Hag, whether that was Amorim, I'm not saying we're going to go there and wipe the floor with them, but it'd be really, really nice. But I think my heart is telling me 1-1. My head is telling me I think we might maybe possibly nick it 2-1, but if I'm going to be real honest, I think it'd be a score draw. Sophie, what you feeling, Soph? Tell me.
I was really worried. I was really worried about this match. And I said to the squaddies, this season we're going to get sick and tired of hearing Gyokeres versus Sesko. Gyokeres needs to score against Manchester United. And I hear you, Hertzy. You're saying it doesn't matter when in the season we'll lose. The narrative will build as soon as we lose a game. Doesn't matter when in the season, in my opinion. Oh, it does. This matters. This opening game against Manchester United is probably our most important opening match of a season that I can remember. And there's several reasons. You can't lose to them. You can't have Gyokeres not score and Sesko score. I mean, no one can control the football. But Gyokeres needs to score in this game. We need to set down a marker. Liverpool today reminded everybody, you know what? We've been through a lot. Okay. We're waiting for Isak. But even if we don't get him, chests out, this is what we've got. And that Bournemouth team today did really well to resist for as long as they did.
Yeah.
And on the counter, they were great. We need to set down a marker. We need to show Manchester United and the rest of the Premier League that we are different. We cannot start negative. I think it would be detrimental. And for those reasons, I think Mikel Arteta is going to go out there and try and smash them. I really do. He cannot start the season playing the same way. Cannot do that. Away from home, their midfield isn't great, Albert. It's not.
No, it's not. It's not. That's why they wanted to. That's why they was looking at Believe. Who they got? Agate, right. Fernandez. Mainu doesn't get a look in anymore.
Casemiro, is Casemiro still going to play in this midfield? I think we set down a marker, and look, this is the hope and the dreams part, right? I get sucked right in. You know what? I don't care. I do it every start of the season. Anything's possible. New season, blank canvas. I say we beat Manchester United 4-1 on Sunday.
Wow.
Our team is going to be galvanized and ready. And I believe Gyokeres will score a brace. I think Havertz, whoever starts, Havertz is going to get a goal. Gyokeres will score a brace. And I think Zubimendi will get one as well. I feel like we're going to unleash the beast and send a message to Manchester United and the rest of the league. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think Gyokeres will start, but I think Martinelli will start as well. I know, and I'm pushing.
I want Madueke to start, but that's fine.
He should start. Yeah, I think he should start because I just think from him being a left foot, it just gives Arsenal a lot of balance. But I do think Gyokeres will definitely start, unless I'm proved completely wrong come 3 o'clock or 3:30 on Sunday. But I do think Martinelli will start. Like you said before, Sophie, and I agree. I think Mikel's the defensive side of it and the possession side of it and the work off the ball is a key factor for him. And when you're going away at OT, where our record is absolutely horrendous, I do think Martinelli will start. But I wouldn't be too disappointed if Noni Madueke starts. And I'm doing a watch along for the game, so they better win 4-1.
Yeah, so we're gonna push that as well. You know, if you're a Manchester United defender and you've been marking Martinelli, the tracking back that Martinelli does is what keeps him in this side. He's one of the best at it in the team, but he's an attacking player and we need more. And we've seen what we know about him. And then Madueke comes on for 25 minutes. Oof, that's not a bad sub, right? If Gyokeres starts and Havertz comes on for the last 20 minutes and can get a goal like he did against Bilbao, not going to be as easy in the Premier League. But, you know, we need... there's something in my Greek gut that says Arsenal's going to come out because people are writing us off before we've even done anything. We're going to come out and we're going to galvanize the fan base and we're going to send a message. And it's going to be a great post-game show on Sunday, Albert. I guarantee that.
Well, they better win because I've got Arsenal down for a score and win on my coupon. So, you know, hopefully they'll come good.
I love that. Now, where are you doing the watch along? Let everyone know because the squaddies can hang out with you and then come over to Highbury Squad for the post game show. Yeah,
they can. So it's gonna be a triple on Sunday. So doing the watch along collaboration with my channel and Dan Potts, the 12th Man podcast, and I'll be joining your show relatively straight after. And then I'll be doing a stream on my channel. Should be about 8 p.m. So it's going to be overtime on the Sunday.
Okay.
So
awesome.
Do check that out. I'll drop
now,
it in
Albert, I did promise. I don't care about the hour mark today, just so you know. I'm not rushing to get off, but I know you need to go eat. So I'm going to ask you to do these quick fire. However, your starting 11 real quick against Manchester United.
Oh, God. Raya. Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Lewis Skelly, Rice, Odegaard, Zubi, Martinelli, Gyokeres, and Saka. That's 11, right?
So Raya, so I've got Raya, White, Big Gabby.
Raya, Timber.
Yeah. Okay. For me, it's White on the right and Timber on the left. Saliba and Big Gabby. Then you've got Odegaard, Zubi and Rice. Madueke, Gyokeres, and And I'd bring Martinelli on I think Martinelli's role in this team is super sub. I think if he was a super sub, Arsenal fans would love him and he would be much more productive. Albert, real quick, your Golden Boot winner for the Premier League.
Oh, Jesus.
I did say I was going to do this at the beginning. If I don't, people will be bummed. Which is why we're staying over an hour. It's just going to take 5 minutes.
Oh, good. You know what? I'm gonna go Haaland, actually. Haaland. Yeah.
People are gonna I'm gonna go Gyokeres.
Of course, son.
Did you hear my neck crack there? Oof, I thought that felt
14.
good.
Come on, son.
You know what? People think you have, after doing Tom's show, you just hate Arteta. You go to see. No, you're misunderstood. A little bit like Lindsay Lohan was back in the day.
Oh, Jesus.
Your Golden Glove winner.
Oh, God. Gonna go Raya.
Yeah, me too. Yep, absolutely. Your Player of the Year.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I am gonna go for. Oh, I'm thinking of Zubimendi.
Me too. Did you copy my answers?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't copy. No, I did not copy your answers. I don't do plagiarism.
By the way, this is Player of the Year for Arsenal. Not
okay. Yeah, Zubi. Yeah, Zubi,
okay, because the Golden Boot and the Golden Glove was for the league. Yeah. Top scorer is going to be Gyokeres. We both agree on that. Most improved player this season
for Arsenal.
Yeah.
You know what?
I think I'm going to go Benjamin White, mate. I'm going to go Benjamin White. Unleash the beast. Benjamin Button.
I'm gonna go left field because obviously we've got him now wanting to succeed. We'll go Noni.
I like that. Oh yes, Demsek is with you. No, he said Zubi. I read Noni. That's Lynn. Lynn, good to see you in the house. Surprise player of the season.
Arsenal.
Yes.
Right, okay.
I'll help you. I'll put my picture up. My picture, not my picture. I'll put a picture of him up. I can find it. Damn it. For those listening on audio, I'm sure you're enjoying this.
You know what? I'm saying this because I'm not sure, but I'm gonna chuck it out there. I'm gonna go Waneri. Oh, there you go.
I'm going for Mosquera. I think he's going to have a bit more to say in this title race and in the Champions League than we think right now. So for me, it's Mosquera. Okay, brilliant. So we got Golden Boot winners. You're going for Haaland. I'm going for Gyokeres. Golden Glove, we're both going for David Raya. Top scorer, of course, it's obvious for Arsenal, who we've both gone for. Player of the season, we're going for Zubimendi. Most improved, you've gone for Noni. I've gone for Benjamin White. Surprise player, I've gone for Mosquera, and you've gone for Noni. And that's it. We got it. We've done it. Norgard is underrated. He certainly is. Mosquera is my guy. You guys have been brilliant. Let's get this picture off. Thanks to Gunner Balls, by the way, for allowing me to use his digital art for the thumbnail. Really appreciate him. Thank you, Jason. You're always very gracious in letting us use this. This is it. This is the beginning of the season. And it started off with a bang. My God, what a match, what a game. For a minute there, we thought Bournemouth had pulled it off. But that's what champions do. Champions stick it out. They find a way to win. And with the help of some crappy defending, to be fair, their finishing tonight was really good. Let's stop lying. Make sure that you check out Albert on his channel for the watch along. And thank you, Albert, for hopping in. Thank you, Squaddies, for coming in. I really appreciate each and every single one of you. I am positive. I am ready. I am so ready. This is our time. I'm not talking PR. I'm not doing any of that. Last season, I didn't pick us to win the league. This season is it. It's now or never. And you've got to think to yourself, Mikel Arteta has to feel a different kind of pressure this season. There's a new director of football. He's been there a long time. We've finished third. David Hillier told you going 3 times was difficult. We've learned lessons from last season, I hope. We need to keep our players healthy and fit. This is his time. There's no more time in terms of like grace from fans. maybe the owners. But this is it. Don't get scared now, as Kevin McAllister said in Home Alone. Right, I'll see you Sunday. Make sure you check out Albert on his watch along. And until then, squaddies, stay safe. And don't forget to tell your loved ones you love them. At ease.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
And I saw it. Matty K is channeling me. This is going to be Arsenal 23-24 season, up 3-0 by half time in many games. Right, we really are leaving now. Love you lots like vodka shots.